Hello, I'm Hannah Grace. I am a performer and a performance maker. I live in London in the UK, but I am from the US. Yeah, my creative practice is shifting, but it is historically a blend of theater, song, and contemporary dance. And I like to use my art making as a vehicle to invite audiences to witness some kind of a journey on the stage that usually ties into emotional healing, mental health, something like that, and hopefully allow it to strike a chord in them and allow them to start to see themselves in the journey that's going on stage. And I like to draw inspiration from nature, so it oftentimes involves something to do with nature. My inspiration behind this piece came from my grandmother passing, and she had dementia before she passed, and so she had this interesting experience of kind of experiencing her whole life at once because her memories weren't chronological anymore. So I became really fascinated by the idea of memory and how memories anchor us into time and space. I then learned that water holds memory, and these two ideas kind of came together into this inspiration of water and how water, as it is around us as humans, it takes on our emotions and then it carries them onto wherever it goes next. So then as we ingest water, or as we swim in water, or as we shower in water, whatever we're doing, we are taking in other people's memories and other people's emotions without really understanding it. So all these ideas kind of came together, and I was very inspired by two resources in particular. One is the book How to Read Water by Tristan Gooley, and the other one is the documentary The Secret of Water, which goes through a bunch of different scientists' studies of how water contains memory and emotion. So we used a lot of those tools, and I came up with some exercises based off of what I learned from those two resources to kind of help us formulate movement language, choreographic processes, and kind of a pattern, a set for the piece. Being at Shawbrook this summer was very magical. For me, it was so helpful to be in a space in nature because I get a lot of inspiration from nature, away from cities, and just have isolated time to work on this. That was huge for me, was just having the space to play, test out ideas, and yeah, have a little bit of an open free space.
Hi, my name is Sierra Oszust. I am a dance artist from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. My practice is really based in moving kinesthetically, using movement principles of modern and contemporary dance technique. I also really like to use the influence of physical theater. So bringing all those together to create a movement practice that can be shared and explored regardless of your skill or knowledge of dance. Everyone's able to move that way, or at least feel moved. The hook, line, and sinker is overall a longer work that really does into the interplay between reality and illusion. So really playing on themes of manipulation of time, of the bodies, and of space. We're creating these characters that are trying to navigate through the world that's ever changing and isn't what it seems. So they're always having to constantly adjust to these new realities. Diving into more of a specific part of this piece, which is a trio between three dancers. Within these three dancers, we are finding all the emotions of joy, of humor, of sadness, of anger, and kind of starting to peel back the layers of what we think we see. Shawbrook is a wonderful place to start a creative process because there's so much time and space to allow each individual to find what they need. There's so much room for exploration and play and making mistakes and having fun, and it's just a great way to start building an idea that you have. It's been a wonderful experience that I would happily recommend or would happily come back to do.
Hi, Hi, my name is Nina Murphy. I am an artist from the United States, but I live in London currently. My creative practice is, I don't really have one particular way of creating or doing anything. I work with language and just dance movement in general. I also find a lot of interest in props, which is one of the things that I'm working with currently. So the project that I'm working on doesn't have a title yet, but it revolves around this idea of grief, and it was an extension or a development from a previous project that was more about overwhelm. But it was this idea of using fabric, so actually this fabric, as a physical representation of the overwhelm, previously now having translated into grief. And that was partly because of an experience I had while going home this last month and experiencing some more intense feelings around a family member. Not as developed in my process as maybe the other two are currently, but it's just been a really great opportunity to kind of try some things and discover, to be honest, what I don't want or what I don't like when it comes to this project. So it's been a very freeing exploration and seeing what the two of them take on as well through the fabric. What has been really helpful and encouraging about being at Shawbrook particularly is the fact that they're like the low stress environment of that I don't feel like I have to produce a final product, and that I get to just use this incredible space just to play and kind of figure out some new things. And to be honest, being so inspired by the environment, like already starting to think about different projects while still having to focus on the one that I'm currently doing, and wanting to immediately come back. Like I'm already thinking about, oh, how can I come back and get to work in this beautiful space again?